Hi there, welcome to the Chaos Chamber and to Sigil of the Week. This week's sigil is for you if you are struggling to come to conclusions about your statement of intent. This is a sigil to get your true intent to reveal itself to you. So let's get into it. Hi there, and welcome back to the Chaos Chamber, to our Sigil of the Week. So this week our sigil is going to be for those of you who struggle to find out what it is you really want. It's a very common thing that happens when I do workshops where people will come in and they don't really know exactly what they're after. And so you can use sigil magic to help you with this. And the statement I like to use is something along the lines of my intent reveals. Let's put it on the second line. Itself. Okay. So there's a reason I phrase it like this, in that I like to get the unconscious mind to show you things rather than you making it do things. If you're familiar with the Sigil Secret, my book, I talk about the idea of the unconscious being like a mammoth. It's very primitive and it's very it's belligerent. So if you try and make it do things, it tends to have a tantrum and sit down. So if you ask it to show you things, it tends to be more effective. So this is quite a good one if you're completely stuck on what you need to do. My intent reveals itself. So again, as normal, what we're going to do is get rid of all the vowels. We keep the Y because I don't consider Y as a vowel. If you want to remove it, you're welcome to do so. So I end up with M, Y, N, T, N, T, R, V, L, S, T, S, L, F, which is quite a lot of letters. So then we move to the next phase of making a sigil, which is to remove the duplicates. So we've got two N's. So we're going to take the second one out. Two T's. We're going to take that one out. M, Y, N, T, R, V, L. So we've got two S's and another T there. Two L's. So we end up with M, Y, N, T, R, V, L, S, F. This is the bit where I always have a slight panic that I've missed one. If you do, it doesn't matter. It does not affect the effectiveness of the sigil. It just makes it slightly easier to draw. You can always edit it afterwards. So we're then going to take this, and as I usually do, I'm going to move from left to right. So I'm going to start with the M. I like sort of using longer letters as kind of the basis of the sigil, and this is one of my favourite things to do, is to put a Y on the bottom. It instantly stops looking like letters, and if I put an N there and join it on, and then a T across the top like that, it starts to become more recognisable as a sigil. I'm going to put the R across the bottom here, and then a V off of the end of it. An L is going to come out and down to the side, and then I'm going to put an S just there, and then an F off like that. And so we have our first sigil, version A. To top them off, I put circles and lines because in planetary magic these represent the beginnings and the ends. It also makes them look less letter-like and more sigil-like. So there's my first sigil, the A version. My intent reveals itself. So then I'm going to edit this down. I quite like this bit actually, sort of here. So I'm going to keep a line like that. So I'm taking aspects of it and drawing them separately to make another image. Yeah, so like I'm going to, there we go. So I've left this bit out, and I've got a slightly simpler looking sigil there, and so that's my B version of the first sigil. So again, this is a really simple way of simplifying something if it looks too busy. If you just don't like it, I think I'm going to put a line in there as well. This is all about aesthetics at this point. It doesn't really matter how it works as long as it looks right to you. Now I would probably use this one. I prefer the B version. It's not always the case, but in this instance I think it looks a little bit more magical. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to start with the F, and then the S is going to be in reverse there. So instantly that doesn't look like an F and an S anymore. See, that's what you're after doing. It's sort of deletterizing them. Take the L, put it there, and then I'm going to put the V there. Have the R coming off of the V like that, and extend that down into the letter below, and then put the T on the end of the R. So you can do that sometimes, just kind of merge two letters into each other. I'm going to have an N there, but backwards, and then a Y really small in there, and then an M like that. So completely different, much smaller for a start. And I've tended to find this, if you start with different letters, you get different sizes. I should just really tick them off as I'm going. So we start with our statement of intent, remove the vowels, remove the duplicates. We end up with MYNTRVLSF. I make sigil A and the edit, and then I do a second one, which we can call A1. And then we'll do an edit of A1. So I'm going to choose that top bit there. Keep that triangle bit, and then sort of keep that shape at the bottom. There we go. And then again, I top them off with these lines and circles, because in planetary magic it's the beginning and the end, but it makes it look less letter-like. The only issue I have with this is that this looks a little bit too much like an R, so I might do that with it, kind of disguise it a little bit. And so we have okay, so we have our statement of intent, we remove the vowels, we remove the duplicates, we end up with a string of consonants, and we turn them into a sigil, and we then edit the sigil to something more aesthetically pleasing. You don't have to do this, you can work with the first one. And I'm working from left to right in this one, and then here I'm working from right to left, and I edit it down again. So you've got basically 4 versions of the same statement. So that's a good one to make if you're not really sure what you're after. And using these methods will allow you to make multiple sigils for the same statement. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next sigil of the week on the Chaos Chamber.